Get ready for the next battle. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to SCWRM Comms, I believe. Today, we're doing a movie pick of my choosing. After years of being tormented by these guys watching a bunch of bad films, I decided to give them a taste of their own medicine.
On the edge of the pond, what is my blessing?
Today, we're doing the 2009 Tekken movie.
This is a
released in
thing.
2010.
So, yeah.
The kind of 2009, kind of 2010, it's a bit confusing.
You know, it's
This
kind
came
of...
out the same year as Dragon Ball Evolution.
You know, it's...
Oh, joy.
Well, okay,
well,
so...
we also had Astro Boy 2009 in that year at least.
Sure.
Yeah, but we also had Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li.
Oh,
I think that was 2008.
That was 2009.
Also, what you need to know is that, again, outside of some exceptions, fighting game movie adaptations are somehow even more cursed than the normal video game adaptations.
How odd is it that one of the best fighting game adaptations was a PG-13 version of Mortal Kombat when you actually think about it?
Not just that, Joe, but directed by Paul W.S. Anderson of all people.
Okay.
Speaking of which, actually, who lives? I think you know who are in charge of this particular movie.
I'm not as familiar with the director of this movie. It's directed by Dwight Little, whose previous filmography includes Halloween 4, the 1989 version of Phantom of the Opera, Free Willy 2, and more recently a film called Home by Spring, and he apparently has an upcoming film called Natty Knox.
I also know the movie he did in 2004, Anacondas, is in Anaconda 2. It's terrible.
Okay, yeah, now that one I am aware of.
But I am more familiar with the writer of this movie, Alan B. McElroy, who wrote Halloween 4 to be directed by, I'm guessing Dwight H. Little with him are friends. He also went on to write such classics as Spawn, the 2000 Left Behind movie, Ballistic X vs. Sever,
God.
and admittedly a guilty pleasure of mine, The Marine.
Okay.
Have not seen
I like
that
one though.
Pedro, we need to watch that.
Yeah, the movie is actually fun. Like, it's basically an 80s action movie, but with John Cena as the
More recently, he has been a writer and producer of Star Trek Discovery, which, as far as I know, has been more of a hit-and-miss series.
And to be fair, he was involved in Todd McFarlane's Spawn, the animated series, so...
Okay,
Again,
I thought you were going to say the movie.
He was involved in the movie too, yeah, but he was also involved in the animated series.
For this one, I'm afraid it is not, but that's what we need to find out.
Okay. Let me just preface this. When it comes to adaptations, I am well aware adaptations are not always going to be one-to-one representations of the source material brought to the silver screen. I understand that sometimes there will be changes. And you know what? Sometimes those adaptations can bring really good changes. Changes so good that the original source material actually reflects those changes. Stuff like the Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, the Mortal Kombat movie. So again, an adaptation does not have to be bad. The thing you have to also realize with an adaptation is this is sometimes the best shot a series has to branching out here. Hence why a lot of fans will take an adaptation seriously. Like, say what you will about the MCU, but until the MCU reboots, when a character shows up in that is often that character's fanbase's best shot at getting them all big and whatnot, and there's a reason that stuff like, well, the Mandarin was a long-running problem until that got fixed with the Shang-Chi movie.
Remind me, has Uwe Boll ever made an adaptation of a fighting game?
No, I don't think so. Mostly survival horror or RPGs.
The only film adaptations of fighting games that I know that I've seen that are fine is, of course, the first Mortal Kombat and the new Mortal Kombat, which is okay, not great, but it's fine.
Yeah. And, I love how the main character's superpower is literally plot armor.
So I like while I was searching for
that sounds like Alice in the Resident Evil movies you're talking about.
Yes, Pedro.
Also, while I was searching the copy for us to use, I noticed the wiki page. Katsuhiro Arada, the director of the Tekken video game series, criticized the film, and I'm quoting him right now, "That Hollywood movie is terrible. We were not able to supervise that movie. It was a cruel contract. I'm not interested in that movie." So basically, he doesn't even want to acknowledge this movie's existence.
And apparently,
in his usual words, don't ask me for shit.
And apparently, a lot of the viewers agreed with that sentiment too, because despite having a budget of $30 million, the box office was only $1.6 million.
Now, although one thing that's kind of interesting is that this film is often compared to another Tekken film that came out 2 years later, the CGI film Tekken Blood Vengeance. And I have seen that film, but it was years ago. Although bafflingly, I've heard a lot of people say that the CGI film is worse than this one.
I have seen
Those
neither
people are
film.
wrong.
I have seen neither film, so I will have to wait and judge. Now, granted,
Shiri, along with me, also instead saw the OVA that was done in the 90s, Tekken, the motion picture. It's been a while, so that one is more of generations maybe down the line. But for the time being, again, this was like the most next biggest adaptation thing for Tekken in a long time.
So let's just set the stage here. As for how familiar each of us are with the Tekken franchise and how much that will actually help us realize if this film does good stuff,
Pedro,
or if it
you
just
go
does bad
first.
stuff.
What's your experience with the Tekken franchise?
Zero. I never played the games. I never seen the movies. Not that I was always more of a Mortal Kombat guy and Street Fighter kind of guy. Like
That's fair. Tekken has a bit of a learning curve to it that can alienate some.
I argue it's the opposite, but instead it's very friendly towards button mashing.
But yeah, let's get on with the movie then. Everyone to start before the Crystal
Sky, actually.
Crystal Sky. So Deji, do the countdown, please.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, click.
I
As
guess
for
we can
myself,
assume.
I have played the main trilogy of Tekken back in the day on the PlayStation. The PS2 era was something a bit more slacked on, but on the PS3 I played a couple of others, including the free-to-play title.
I am somewhat familiar with the Tekken franchise. I've played a few games here and there. I played Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on the Wii U, which admittedly, I was kind of confused as to why Heihachi was older and other stuff, because I was more familiar with him from stuff like that, and Project Cross Zone 2 as well.
Oh.
Explosion, excitement.
Wow. Wait. You guys didn't tell me this was actually a sequel to Apocalypse Now?
Basically, to sum up my knowledge of Tekken...
Oh, man, and we start with the first thing wrong with it. In the games, the main corporation that is the central focus of thing, from antagonist and protagonist and all, is the Mishima Zaibatsu. Instead, here, it's called the Tekken Corporation.
So, get it? Because Tekken, that's the name of the the name of the game, right?
So, if I understood correctly, the Tekken franchise took... So if I understood correctly, what the fuck? This is Highlander Tail. I didn't tell me we were watching.
Highlander the Source,
okay.
TL,
Pedro, let me put it like this. Everything you know, or to the audience, everything you know about Tekken, throw that out the window because this is shit.
Now, I just want to remind you...
You need to throw it because otherwise you'll be pissed off.
I just want to remind you...
As for my experience with this franchise, Tekken's my favorite fighting game series ever.
Oh,
really? I grew up with Tekken 3, like most people, and I've played almost every game except 6.
Yes, Pedro?
Oh, 5 days earlier?
So if I understood correctly, the United States of America fell and they were destroyed by the Tekken franchise. That's basically what I get from this.
And for some reason, they needed more of a reference to Virtua Fighter by having instead 8 conglomerate being in control of a world. Sure, in Virtua Fighter it's called the D6, but...
so this was all part of a Rabbit's plan to take over the world?
Sure.
Okay.
Never mind the fact that, again, the Mishima Zaibatsu is purely Japanese, so instead we're shifting also to location.
Cherry
Also,
Tagawa.
unfortunately, the only I don't know the vast majority of the cast except one. It's an old friend that we saw in Blade 2, Luke Goss. It's the guy. It's basically the pretty boy that got to substitute Jason Statham in the I forgot the name, the Death Race series. So, and trust me, the many selling point is that he's a pretty boy, not a great actor.
He was also in Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, so there's that.
Also, yes, the music. The music in this sucks. Composer John Hunter, I have no idea what his experience is. And yes, to be fair, the Tekken series prides of having a very rock, based score. But it manages to provide a lot of variety. This kind of grunge that we're hearing right now has no place being here.
Anyway, it seems like
this is the most early 2000 song ever.
Anyway,
It came out in 2009. Although, funnily enough, Namco announced the film in 2002. Production started in 2007.
It was in development hell for a long while.
Anyway, to go back to my knowledge of the franchise, where that left off essentially,
Go ahead.
I know enough about this franchise that I was actually keen with this getting added to Smash Bros. Ultimate, and in fact, I am perfectly fine with Kazuya being the Smash rep for the franchise.
Deji, can you explain to me what exactly is the Order doing here?
I don't.
I'm sorry.
You see, this is supposed to be the Tekken force.
What's their name? What's their name? The new
Knights of Ren
from Force Awakens. What's their name?
Oh, the First Order.
That's it. First Order. I know it was Order something, but I forgot what it was.
But
didn't tell me the First Order was in this.
Honestly, they look more
I didn't know the First Order had machine guns.
Lord, it's my directing.
Don't you see, Dwebs? Like Tarkin said, it's an ancient old religion. Fuck that Force shit. Let's just use guns.
So who's this guy supposed to be?
Jin.
That's supposed to be Jin.
Is that supposed to be the main character? The guy with the...
Okay, it's a bit more complex. To make it simplified, Pedro, starting with 3, he has become kinda sort of the main character.
And then kinda got retired as the main... Well, okay. Maybe not retired, but kinda pushed to the side as the main character, since it really feels like Tekken 7 was focused way more on Kazuya and Heihachi.
That's because they wanted to close the book on the first game, which established their rivalry.
If I'm going to at the very least say something positive, at least they got an actual Asian actor to play him, unlike Dragon Ball Evolution.
John Fu, Singaporean English.
Hey,
which
Dwibs!
is not really Japanese.
Hey, Dwibs, some English representation for you.
Sorry, Java?
Some English representation. Junior is played by John Fu, who's Singapore English.
Yep.
And I know how you do like
Here's the
English
thing: Tekken has always been a diverse franchise.
Yeah,
so.
starting with I keep forgetting which game they started. 5 or 6. They started including also each character speaking with the language native to their
5.
Country origin, which is actually a very cool addition.
So everyone just understands each other by reading the subtitles,
basically.
Is this supposed to be Paul Phoenix?
I don't think so. I hope. It's been. Trust me, audience. I've seen this movie once in 2012, and I promptly tried to forget most of it.
I can understand.
Okay. To be fair, the movie's just started. We're in a bit of chaotic things. Maybe things will ease out.
Already with the starting, the games, despite having a lot of apocalyptic stuff going on, are never about a dystopia.
Oh my god, Heihachi.
With more of a Dr. Wily look than his traditional one.
I mean, it's not terrible, I guess.
I mean, of course. Yes. You can't adapt Heihachi's hair without it looking goofy.
honestly...
Well, I guess this guy's soul is mine.
Okay. If I may, even as someone who's just like semi-familiar with Tekken, even I know they do not use the word Tekken this much in the games.
No, they never use the word. Okay, Jova, they never use the word Tekken. It's always been the tournament has always been
the King
called
of the Iron Fist.
Yes.
Which, to be fair, they even do call it that. So why are they spouting all this stupid Tekken stuff? Okay. So if I can understand correctly, what they're saying is that a Japanese company called Tekken essentially took over America.
Yes.
Basically the world. Or something.
So instead of Code Geass, where it's the English taking over all the world, in here it's the Japanese taking over all the world.
Now we got to
Yes,
the dialogue. Now you're my favorite customer.
Wait. Is that guy supposed to be a reference to Harada? He looks kind of like him.
No.
Yes, also, yes, Jova, English, maybe there's barely any English accents in that show.
And yet, it's still... Well, okay, to be fair, they took over all the world, so it makes sense some would have, like, different accents.
Gene?
No, Jin.
Wait, who's Gene?
No, Jin. He just... That's just how he pronounced his name, that's all.
You have an orange.
Okay, so... What exactly is the plot here? I guess Jin wants to enter the tournament because, if this is like, so he's just going in for the money, so he doesn't know yet, I guess.
Hey, put it this way, Jova. Turning Jin into a drug addict, or at least someone who handles that kind of stuff, is the equivalent of having Goku going to school.
Okay. So, here's the thing with Jin in the games. At first, it seemed by the third game, he was definitely going to be the main star. But in later bouts, it seems like some games have tried to stray away from that, with him possibly going down
Tekken 6 made him the main antagonist, and nobody liked that.
Okay.
So Tekken 7 was like, he's in a coma now.
Yeah, he spends the entirety of Tekken 7's plot in a coma. Here's hoping that 8 fixes that.
Well, this
this
guy looks. I mean, considering how he looks in the games, at the very least, this guy looks like he, at the very least, looks.
Speaking of Kazuya, for another occasion of not getting the character at all, Kazuya is just a henchman working for Heihachi, and the two are, despite having a bit of animosity, seem to just get along.
Well, clearly he's just doing this so that he can later backstab Heihachi later,
obviously.
right?
Maybe they just got over their differences.
Okay, I know that they're not doing this here, but just to reference it with, the way the animosity of the Mishima family runs in the games is the fact that the characters keep throwing each other into volcanoes.
Well, hold on. There was that one time where Heihachi tied both his grandson, his son, and his father onto a rocket and shot them off into the sky to explode.
Well, that's not canon.
Funny, but not canon.
Still,
I love his Tekken 6 ending where he just takes Jin and Kazuya into space and tries to throw them out, but he himself gets thrown out of the rocket ship and they all die.
Anyway, okay. To be fair, there have been occasional cases where the Mishima family are willing to work with one another here. Obviously, the end goal is one will rise above the other's deaths, but I'm not too adverse to Kazuya working with Heihachi. And you know what? I'm going to say it. I do actually like the look of Heihachi in this movie. It doesn't get his exact look down, but it is more or less possibly one of the best cosplays I've seen for the character. Also, I see Jin's mother is alive in this version.
Oh, Jobo, you're a Spider-Man and Batman fan. You know how this goes.
Oh, so we're actually going to see her death here.
Also, just to mention, Heihachi in this movie is played by Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, which is probably the main, the most high-profile actor in this whole movie.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in Mortal Kombat.
Okay,
basically.
Okay, knowing what happens with Jin's mom.
Oh, this.
Oh, they gave him a girlfriend.
Or do you want me?
You go ahead.
This is supposed to be Christy Monteiro.
Wait, what?
Two things wrong with this. One, in this version, Christy is Jin's love interest, which is wrong on...
Because those two have never had an interaction before.
Second, Christy Monteiro is Brazilian and pure Latina. But guess who got whitewashed in this movie?
Wait, hold on. What's the actress's actual nationality?
Kelly Overton, purely American.
Okay, so let me see. Yeah, no, she's Afro-Brazilian at that. So not just...
Well, Afro-Brazilian, I mean, she's still not Latina, though.
I'm talking about the actress who played her in the movie, Jova.
Yes. What I'm saying is that the original character is Afro-Brazilian, not just Brazilian.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I thought you were talking about the actress. Never mind.
Still, the point is that the movie whitewashed her completely. And made her Jin's love interested, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Why not Xiaoyu?
Apparently, rumor said Xiaoyu was supposed to be in the movie, but she got replaced by the last minute.
Also, this is starting to remind me of Alone in the Dark. Suddenly, those two have sex now because, like, I didn't even know who they are. Like,
okay.
That's his girlfriend.
Okay. Alright, so clearly this movie gets a lot of things about the characters wrong. So let's get to this stage of asking, is it at least a good movie if you're not a Tekken fan?
No.
It's, as you can see, Jova, we're 15 minutes in, and what has happened so far?
Allow me, since I'm naturally the newcomer here. So far, I have no fucking clue what the fuck's going on because this movie won't stop for a goddamn second. Like, seriously, like it cuts to scene to scene to scene to scene, and not a single scene actually slows the fuck down so I can actually absorb what the fuck is even happening.
Also that bit of Christy partially naked, was that supposed to be the reference to her original in-game costume?
Okay, I'm not sure if this is a thing on your copies, but the one I got, the one from YouTube, title the foreign language bits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did had, but also Kazuya with a gun is just wrong. I know that he can do that in Smash, but still.
Is that like giving Batman a gun or something?
No. Well,
because Kazuya wielded a gun in the opening of Tekken 4, but he didn't use it.
Let me put it like this: Kazuya can use guns, but it's like
Kazuya doesn't need a gun. That's the point.
He is the gun.
Now I see where the budget went.
Okay. I guess to be fair.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Did Kazuya seriously lead a mission to kill? Well, Well, okay. But shouldn't he have known that Jin's mother was in there? And given what I recall from the franchise, normally he would be, kind of against hurting his lover like that.
No.
Am I supposed to care?
You have to understand one other thing. I don't even know. Your exposure to Tekken via Project Cross Zone is from the Tag Tournament sub-series, which is an alternate continuity that works on different rules.
So Tag Tournament is an alternate thing. I thought that was a spin-off that was still in continuity.
That they have to bring back to have a game with all of the characters in it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So...
This fucking slow-mo. Yes, Pedro, go on, sorry.
Am I supposed to... what is even happening? Like, seriously, this
basically
stop lost for a goddamn minute. Feel sad, Pedro.
But I don't even
stop using the name. Okay, yeah, you can. Let me put it this way.
Is this the quiet man now?
This is telling me that Alan B. McElroy might have played 1 or 2 GameStops or read a synopsis on Wikipedia and said, "Oh, the name must be important. Let's shorten in as much as we can without any meaning to it."
As for that explosion throwing him like a ragdoll, I guess this is a series that has anthropomorphic characters as in some of its fighting characters. So I guess some wackiness is expected. I guess.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's what we don't have in this movie.
Yeah.
Well,
Here's the thing: Tekken has
Fuck me
always been this insane, wacky franchise.
Yes,
sure.
not just appropriate characters. One of the main recurring characters that gets beloved by Amy is King, a wrestler with a jaguar mask that only produces jaguar noises, and yet is still a human being. And guess who's not in this movie? Yeah, we're fucking nothing. God damn it.
He's gonna pay for what he's done. Who is he again, too?
Yeah.
Heihachi.
Oh, okay.
Again, this is only to set up Jin to have a revenge motivation and having join the
Seriously,
second tournament.
Okay,
the pacing
question.
of this movie is horrible.
Just Jin.
Adria, I'm going to recommend you watch the Netflix anime.
Don't worry, Dej, I'll mention that also at the end of the
Okay.
thoughts.
So, I'm guessing Jin doesn't know about his family heritage yet.
There's Lucas playing Steve Fox. Now, if you know anything, Steve Fox is supposed to be British, and Lucas sometimes tends to have a British accent, so I'm fine with that. But he's merely mostly a boxer, so a bit built on the upper side.
And he's also supposed to look attractive as well.
Luke Gus doesn't really have the physique, I'm sorry. Just one look.
Okay, guys, I think
Hey, he wants to see a teenager get beat up.
Anyway, one thing that the movie actually does right for the most part, I have to say, are the fight scenes. Mostly because they had good choreographer controllers. The sad part about it is that they don't get, obviously, the different martial art styles that the characters are normally using. But that's, I guess, part of the course. So the point is that you need to know is that the fight scenes are good, but they're not a good adaptation of the characters.
So let me guess. In this tournament, if you lose the fight, you will also lose your life.
Is it? Okay.
That's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. That's Mortal Kombat. Like, the fate of America will be decided as it should be in Mortal Kombat. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying, the pacing of this movie is atrocious. Like it's impossible for anyone to follow what the fuck is even going on. It's like Shyamalan's Last Airbender.
Another thing, Jin's opponent is supposed to be martial law, which, if you know the game, is supposed to be basically a Bruce Lee clone.
In fact, that you linked me to the new one that's coming. Like, it's just like the recent Sailor Moon movies, where they have to adapt an entire season into a movie, and as a result, they rush the fuck out of the story, and so like the movie's on speed.
Well, okay. There is one reason that I can't really appreciate the fight choreography all that much.
Go on.
The camera.
Yep, badly shot.
Yeah,
I mean,
seriously. I mean, when it gets to bits like that, it doesn't stop shaking.
Yeah.
Also, I'm guessing
okay.
the aggressive editing.
From what we can tell, through the terrible camera work and editing, the actual choreography itself, from what I can tell, is not too bad.
Oh yeah, no, the fight choreography is definitely pretty good, but the
director, look at all the effort that the lead choreographer had, being completely wasted on terrible editing and terrible camera work from the director. Good job, dude.
Come on, Gene, do it. You can. Ow.
God, I wish I was in Mortal Kombat 3. Oh wait, there isn't one. Shit.
Another thing we didn't mention: Kazuya with a beard and goatee. No.
Wow.
It's supposed to make him look evil.
So I guess this is the origin story of
the trademark
the
thing
great
about
fighter.
Kazuya and Heihachi are the eyebrows.
Exactly. And the stick up hair.
Oh my god, they really are going.
Wow, that's amazing. In between that flashback and just now before she died.
So what you're telling me is that the Quiet Man ripped this movie off.
Kinda.
Or it's like basically like any other martial arts movie
Also,
that has
just to throw
about the mom flashbacks.
Another thing, just to throw it out there, martial law, as much as he was kind of a bit stupid in the games, he wasn't a complete jackass like in this version.
Yeah, he's a pretty chill dude.
So the movie was filmed in and around places in Louisiana.
Is he gonna fight Bonesaw next?
So unfortunately, unfortunately, Randy Savage at this point in time was too old to do it.
Although, if I recall correctly, someone wanted in the year 2000, someone wanted Goldberg to play King. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it.
At one point, they had Kurt Angle in mind to be in the film.
You suck. You suck.
They also had him on Andy Serkis, poor guy, and actor Nathan Jones, who's mainly known for two things: being in Mad Max Fury Road and being a shit WWE wrestler.
Yeah, it says right here. The IMDb page for this movie says 2010. So which is it? Is it 2009 or 2010?
The 2009 was the first premiere at the American film market. The official premiere was 2010 for Japan and 2011 for the United States.
I guess a rule for TV tropes is that it counts for theatrical release dates.
Potentially,
well, not just that, Michael. Even the Blu-ray is dated for 2010.
No, it's just that the Wikipedia page says 2009, so it's just confusing.
Well, that's the thing. It technically did debut in 2009, so there's that. Okay, so back to this movie.
Kazuya having the sex. Again.
And these characters, you will not believe who these characters are.
Let me guess. One of them's Nina Williams, isn't it?
They're actually both Nina and Anna, which are twin sisters, basically.
So in this movie, they're...
No, they're not twins. No. I thought... the point is that they're sisters assassins who regularly want to kill Kazuya.
So this movie...
Anna does.
Instead, we're having a threesome here.
Yeah.
Well, Teo, do they look the same in the games?
No.
They got the color of the air, I guess.
Hey, what were you going to say, Dej, about Anna?
Anna did work for Kazuya in Tekken 6.
And Nina worked with him in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and I don't understand why.
So technically, it
was because she was working for Jin, so she was a double agent.
Well, okay, that's okay. So she did work for him at one point in the games. Here's the real question, though: did Tekken 6 happen before or after this game?
After.
In that case, it doesn't really count.
So
No,
whoa, hold on. If that's not going to count, then technically by that account, that would make Mortal Kombat bad for how it really made changes that would later be incorporated in.
Tekken 6 came out before this movie.
That's the thing. Arada hates this movie. So that's the thing. Arada says that he hates this movie. So I seriously doubt he took it from this.
I mean, granted, to be fair, Nintendo had disdain for the Mario movie, but that didn't stop them from taking some bouts of inspiration from it.
Can I put it this way, Jova? Yoshinori Ono referenced the Street Fighter movie as much as he could, with advice on the Street Fighter different games. Harada is yet to reference this movie in any capacity. Yeah. Like, just because in one game a character might have a alignment change that resembles something that happens in this, that really does not automatically mean they took that as the inspiration.
Obviously, yeah.
And in the opposite side of the spectrum, Ed Boon has said various times that he's quite a fan of the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah, that's because that movie was good and helped influence the franchise.
Now, granted, remember, I never solidly said for certain that Tekken took inspiration from this movie. Just that it's a possibility.
Okay. The appearance they got him mostly right. Raven is supposed to be a covered-up assassin. But,
yeah, he's supposed to be Wesley Snipes.
Eddie Gordo, yeah, so that roughly too, he's supposed to be Christy Montero's brother, basically.
Okay. For those who don't know, Gordo means fat. Just
Dragunov is
Gordo, not.
No, but that's the thing, Dej. The word gordo, if you say it in Spanish and Portuguese, it means fat. That's the thing.
And I just banged them.
I said IKEA, and I'm like, what's they got to do?
Is this how the movie was pitched to the executives?
Also, Christy Montero, much like Eddie Gordo, should actually be proficient in capoeira, but of course instead... Okay, another one they fucked up, Miguel Rojo. He's supposed to be, again, properly Spanish, but they don't... Also Yoshimitsu, we'll get to him. The point is that a couple of other characters got fucked up in the process. Yeah, Brian is alright in appearance. Because Tekken 5 had that. But yeah, the point is that Miguel Caballero Rojo was a character was about to premiere in Tekken 6 as representative for Spain. His entire
the flame pants.
Yeah, so some of the. Thankfully, we saw the scene at the beginning where he actually wears them, so otherwise that would have been a big fuck you.
I'm convinced the Tekken Netflix show gave a big FU to this movie.
I still had to see it.
Okay,
because they gave it why he has flame pants.
Okay, so far, okay, I don't remember much from Blood Vengeance, to be fair. And also, for clarity, I did watch it on my 3DS. But so far, I don't know. I had more fun with the movie that had one of the main characters riding an elephant than or was it a
panda?
Yeah, Xiaoyu's pet.
Which movie are you referring to, Drips?
Blood Vengeance, the CGI movie.
Blood Vengeance, the one some people think is worse than this one.
Again, I'm sure they have their reasons for it. I have yet to see their movie.
Don't take that as a gospel in general.
Great. Let's portray this guy as a creep. Why not?
What?
Here.
Oh wait, this is supposed to be Christy.
It's still.
Wait,
my complaints from before are still relevant.
That being said, was that girl we saw earlier actually Christy or not?
No, someone else.
Yeah, someone else.
But the gist, I probably got confused because the gist is that they're doing the same shtick, Jova. Christy is still whitewashed, and she still falls in love with Jean.
Even though they have no connection in the games at all. The closest connection that they have is
No, I can already tell. Shitty Hollywood script writing 101 dictates now that these two should get together by the end of this movie because when they introduce two characters like this, you can immediately telegraph it.
Hell, you want to know how they screwed up with family relation? Because Christie's supposed to be related to Eddie Gordo instead. Luke Gossip's character, Steve Fox, is supposed to be the son of one of the two Williams sisters, which appear as younger than him in this movie.
Although, to be fair, the only reason why Nina looks around the same age as Steve in the games is because she was in cryostasis. So they made him when she was there. So he's like some effed up lab experiment.
Again, like you said, appearance-wise, Miguel is completely wrong. He's supposed to be the guy having a bit of a beard and mustache, but they kind of shaved him for him. Yeah, Dragunov, yes, he's supposed to have a military uniform. It's just that's kind of crazy.
Okay, no, he's not a creep. She's just being presumptuous. I mean, don't get me wrong. Either plot point is stupid.
Also, Eddie and Christy aren't related or siblings. They just her grandfather was Eddie's mentor.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I kind of lost the plot somewhere along the way.
Good.
When did this guy become Jin's coach?
Well, okay. To be fair, that happened after he
tournament.
won the Iron Fist tournament.
Yeah, he pitched him for a one fight against martial law. Jin won and then convinced Steve to be his manager.
It's just because this movie moves by so fast. Just as I'm trying to understand one scene, immediately just cuts to another. Like it's just.
To give him credit, that scene didn't exactly zoom by.
It's more of a case where I guess a lot of stuff happens in little time. Like, we're not even halfway through and we have gone by so quickly with all the introductions.
I'll be honest. Yeah. I don't find this movie to necessarily... Okay. I'm looking at this movie in two perspectives. As a Tekken fan, oh boy, this is very testy. If I were entering this as somebody who didn't know about Tekken, I'd say...
That's their excuse to replicate the arenas of the fight scenes. Just a blank background that appears for just a bit.
Also, the in-story reason for them having special moves is that it's part of building your character as a fighter in this.
Yeah, similar to wrestling, but they just need to showcase. They also need to bring a good spectacle for the viewing.
At least they got the capoeira fight.
Eddie Gordo is proficient in capoeira, and it's fine.
Okay, the camera work is at least so far better for this fight than it was for that
Probably
cage
because
fight.
It's not in a confined, tight space, I guess. Similar to instead it was the cage.
Hold. Oh, never mind.
Again, okay. If I'm coming in this just blind, I wouldn't call this movie god-awful yet. Now, granted, in terms of being a Tekken adaptation, yeah, I do see the problems here and there.
Raven is played by Darren Henson. Again, I don't recognize most of... He has a plentiful career, but I don't recognize most of the stuff.
There.
Ow. One instead, Eddie, his voice is played by Lateef Crowder. Which is actually Brazilian, so at least they got him right.
I guess that was it.
He was in... Wait. He was a stuntman for The Mandalorian recently.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, poor Eddie gets his ass kicked, and...
Yeah, that sounds like Eddie Gordo's life.
Yeah, it's not like he could go against a VTuber or something. Ugh.
Idol.
Yeah, let's go with that. I just say that Tekken 7 fucks him over a bit more than necessary.
Okay, from what I've seen, while Tekken's a good series, it sometimes really does do some of its characters dirty.
It has the King of Fighters problem.
So many characters.
And when he do story mode, we had to sacrifice a lot just to focus on a few. Like, out of all the characters introduced in Tekken 7, I think only 2 or 3 tops actually show up in the story mode.
The guy looks like a discount, way less muscular Randy Orton. Not this guy, like the one that was just doing the whole arms thing.
Oh, Brian Fury.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the actor specifically.
Brian.
Yeah, this guy. Like he was doing the Randy Orton thing with the arms just earlier.
Yeah.
Played by Gary Daniels. Let me see what he did. Oh, he's a veteran of martial arts movie. He was in the 1995 Fist of the North Star live-action movie. And he has also a professional kickboxing record, so yeah, I guess he knows his stuff.
Okay, it's good that they definitely... So far, they seem to have hired cast members who know how to fight.
Yeah, and again, it shows.
Integral for a Tekken
camera
movie.
fuckery outside, the fighting choreography and the characters knowing what they're doing actually shows up. Again, that's the frustrating part. If the writers actually got a better idea, understanding what the character personality, and goals of the lore of the world building of the series was, this probably would be one of the best fighting game adaptations. But they fucked up so much.
It's so weird, isn't it? Where a fighting game movie has arguably the most important thing, the fighting done right, but quite a few other things are done poorly.
And it commits also the scene that stuff like the Street Fighter movie instead manages to avert. It's not even unintentionally funny. Yes, the fightings are actually pretty cool to look at the very least, but it's a movie that takes itself way too seriously and doesn't really have much in terms of humor.
Like, I suppose, to be fair, even Tekken occasionally has those issues where it takes itself too seriously. But it is weird how kind of joyless this movie feels. Now, granted, there are some over-the-top moments, so maybe they consider that to be the humor, but...
It's because it's a combination of what you just said, the lack of humor, and the fact that the character, like, there's no heart or soul to this thing. Like, it's just like the characters don't really get any time to actually, like, most of the dialogue is just exposition. As a result,
we don't know what Gene's motivations are, but do we actually care when he's succeeding?
Well, okay, we do know what his motivations are. Get vengeance on Heihachi for killing his mother.
Oh yeah, we do. It's just that outside of the mom flashbacks, pretty much most of the dialogue is just exposition, and as a result, the characters don't actually, talk to one another. Yeah. Quiet man syndrome. I get you. Like,
yeah, even a Netflix show does this as well. I was like,
yeah. Okay. Look, I'll admit one thing I always did kind of find a bit iffy was kind of how Jin constantly goes back to stuff about his mother. That's kind of
that's the entirety of his character. Remember, he takes his last name also from his mother because he wants to reject the Mishima's family, even though he commits also a lot of sins.
To be fair, he didn't know he was related to Heihachi and Kazuya until around till the day his mom died.
Okay. Here's kind of my issue with Jin and why. If I were to pick who I prefer as, like, main protagonist of a series, I'd go with Kazuya. And let me remind you, protagonist does not necessarily mean hero. Just means, like, main character in that regard here and there. But, okay, Jin seemed like he had an interesting plot arc,
What the fuck? He's already dead.
Oh, what's that? Is that the demon blood in you?
That's cute, Drova.
Yeah,
Also, just earlier, this kind of Randy Orton was going on like, this is Iron Fist. Like, it was doing a this is Sparta type of thing.
Anyway,
go on, Jova.
My issue with Jin in the main series is just like, okay, he had an arc, and it seemed like it was going good places, but after he supposedly solved it, then he relapsed hard, kind of became a villain, and at this point, I don't know, it almost feels hypocritical to really call him the hero when he has done some pretty messed up stuff himself, like...
And this is why Lars is the real main protagonist.
But no one likes Lars, so...
I do.
Yeah, of course you do.
Deji and Teo, tell me something. Is Steve Fox supposed to be a complete fucking moron in the games?
No, he's
a random guy.
by himself. He's a professional boxer.
Yeah, no, it's because okay, Jin just finished the fight, all full of blood and wounded and shit, and he's like, "Oh, does that hurt? Why, thank you, moron."
I think the point was that he was being sarcastic
or teasing him, but arguably, I think he went too far.
Also, Jova, here's the thing with Kazuya. In the first game, yeah, he's the protagonist. Then the second game, he becomes the main antagonist.
I know.
Then disappears in 3. Then he comes back in 4 because he wants to take over the world. And tries to do the same thing in 5, like take over G Corp. Then 6, he proposes himself as the hero because Jin starts World War 3. Even though...
Okay, again.
Because it was going to do much worse.
And then 7, yeah, okay. Hear me out about Kazuya. He's not necessarily the hero type, but he tends to be the character who you can arguably center a lot of stuff on. And here's the thing. Unlike Jin, it is not necessarily hypocritical to have Kazuya go this way or that way, because that is how he constantly goes, playing every side like he's...
Oh my god, even in training.
We get it! You loved your mother very much. She taught you.
Man. It's like we get it. He has mommy issues. You're gonna have to show us that flashback over and over and over.
Okay.
Get it.
Okay, look, I get it. You played the games enough to know that Jim has mommy issues, but God, even though I don't like them in the games, that doesn't mean that they're this obnoxious.
That's the thing. The games rarely delve into him having mommy issues.
That's my point, though. Is like, well, I don't even really like when they surface because I don't feel like the games even really did that well, which is why it was a good time that they swayed away from those.
In this case, isn't he having more lack of mummy issues?
If Jin's supposedly getting with Christy, that doesn't make any sense if he already has a girlfriend in this movie, unless the girlfriend's gonna die.
No, she's not.
No, she's not. We literally saw the girlfriend pull him away from the flames after his mother was killed.
Oh, he might be. I forgot if in that case if it was like a one-night stand or something.
My mom is dead.
What?
Anyway, sorry, go on. Oh, you know, I am honest. Okay, while of course I'm not saying the movie's on that level, I will say that I am getting a slight Dragon Ball Evolution vibes. Let me explain what I mean. Oh, thank you, movie. Anyway.
Well, to be fair, Christie's kind of got those fan service outfits in the games too, so.
I guess. I am getting slight vibes regarding DBE. Let me explain what I mean. First off, while I'm glad that they got at the very least a guy that is part Asian to play the Jin, unlike with that what Dragon Ball Evolution did, his acting still does kind of have some Justin Chatwin energy to him, I will say. He's
okay.
And also the lack of chemistry between these two also kind of reminds me of the lack of chemistry between Goku and Chi-Chi in that movie.
Okay, to be fair to Justin Chatwin, his race was one of the least issues, since when you get down to it, Goku's technically not Asian because, you know, he's an alien.
Sure.
So technically, there was nothing wrong in having him play that. No. The problem with hiring Justin Chatwin was he could not fight for crap. Sure, they gave him like a little bit of a kung fu boot camp, but as Mother's Basement put it, he's pretty much like a top tier white belt.
Also, we totally need this.
How about we go for a two-for job? He couldn't fight for crap. He couldn't also act for crap.
This is really what I want in a Tekken movie. Gene having a sensual dance with Christy Monteiro. This is like a fan fiction.
Okay, I gotta wonder. Were the fans asking for this around the time?
No.
Jova, at this point, the relationship between Jin and Xiaoyu was cemented at this point.
Which really makes you wonder, why Jin and Christy? Don't get me wrong, Christy is hot.
Again, it really feels like a fanfic.
Yeah, and these two are not an item just because they have had little to no reason to get together. They're just together because the script says
No. Don't you see? The fighting has clearly increased their hormone levels, thus pumping up the endurance in their system, so it's all part of a Tekken tournament's plans to rile people up into heightened states of emotion.
Anyway,
or the director was just feeling very horny, so...
Or both, yes, Dibs.
Speaking of the director, I delved a bit into Mora's filmography. He also directed the video game Ground Zero Texas. What? Oh my god! Oh my god! Now we're getting a scene directly lifted from Alone in the Dark.
You do a ball paper all of a sudden? What the fuck is this?
It's a good thing
We're
she
in the
was
freaking
present.
dark.
Was it good for you, Jin?
Behold, ladies and gentlemen, a movie based on a fighting game where you can hardly see the fighting.
But that's the point, Dibs. I cannot behold.
Basically, there's in Uwe Boll's in the Dark movie. There's an action scene that's also shot exactly like this with the dark flashes,
Flickering lights.
What the fuck?
My sight is 10 out of 10, and I cannot see jack shit on this.
You see, if you can't see anything, you can complain about my crappy filming and editing. What the fuck is even happening? Like,
someone tried to assassinate Jin.
Let me guess. Those were the Williams sisters, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shoot, I was right.
Point to Blood Vengeance. I can at least see what happens in that film.
Okay, is this like essentially just gonna be a mini versus Blood Vengeance movie for you?
Well, again, yes, those two films are compared often.
Later.
Again, Dwibs, I think you could just
compare... Unfortunately, I don't have time today.
Not today, I'm just saying later.
Like, you know, off commentary, like, I mean, sure, some people prefer Blood Vengeance over this. Like, that's just gonna happen. I don't really see it as, like, some big sacrilegious thing. Eh?
Protected? What? I wish I was protected from that lighting just a second ago.
You lied to me, I never hit you. You're tearing me apart, Christy.
What the hell do you mean they made a sequel to this?
Prequel, actually.
Direct to video 4 years later, and with only a few of the actors reprising their roles.
Called Kazuya's Revenge.
So I was right, it was... Oh, I was right, it was the Williams sisters.
Kazuya is played by Ian Anthony Dale, which is American. The character is supposed to be properly Japanese. He played oh, hold on. Fan film. He was mostly a TV actor. He was in 24, CSI New York, Hawaii 5-0, so on.
Okay, I do appreciate that the way they pick the fighters is kind of like when you press the randomizer button on the menu.
There's a hint of them understanding a bit the video games, but it's not enough. Versus cat fight.
Right.
Oh, you want to know what's the other project similar to this that Arada doesn't really particularly like referencing? Death by Degrees.
Never heard of that
one.
one.
Maybe this... Well, hey, maybe this fight scene will be better than the other one.
It was a spin-off for the PS2 at least. I think it was...
Starring Ina Williams.
Starring Ina Williams, but it was trying to be more of a beat-em-up, but it's forgettable. I don't think it's outright horrible, but it's very forgettable.
Isn't it like the Mortal Kombat game where you play as Jax?
Okay.
Kinda. It has the same thought process behind it.
So is Nina like the fan-preferred sibling of the Williams sisters?
Well, she was the first to show up.
I mean, no, Anna wasn't the first game, but she was like Nina's boss fight.
So it really is a cat fight. I like your boyfriend. He's cute. Like, it's just like...
I mean, okay, I guess to give him credit, a lot of the costumage in this movie does resemble that from the games.
Yeah, again, aside from the fighting, a lot of the costumes as the movie progresses start to feel similar to the original counterpart.
Sorry,
Like I said,
I don't share.
that's the
Goodbye.
frustrating part.
Well, goodbye, potential threesome.
Also, in case you're wondering, because again, now it's a good point to mention, the private military company that works for Yachi, that's supposed to be a reference to the character of Jack, which is not. Jack is supposed to be a Arnold Schwarzenegger-esque big hulking Terminator robot thing, and these guys clearly were not.
Wait, is that? I love how in universe the only picture they could get of Jim was just a picture of him
Bloody
fighting.
it up, yes. Okay, now it's time to talk about Yoshimitsu. Okay, it's not relatively simple.
Hey, the arm gauntlets.
Yeah, they actually look cool, admittedly.
Again, to give this movie some credit, the fight scenes are good, and the costumage, again, does look on point here. A lot of these looks are relatively good translations to live action.
Similar to Spawn, it's all wasted, basically.
Yeah,
because the plot is absolutely, it literally sounds like someone really poured diarrhea all over the script.
Yeah.
It's
like I've said, sometimes bad writing is just powerful enough to overpower all the good that a product does provide.
The point with Yoshimitsu is that he's supposed to be essentially a Robin Hood-esque figure, trying to compete in the Tekken tournament to gain riches so he can distribute to the poor. And as it goes on, it's mostly revealed that he's essentially basically a cyborg that's reenacting a character who lived in feudal Japan, which is why the character also shows up in Soul Calibur.
To bring up another fighting movie adaptation, like I really like the guy in Mortal Kombat Annihilation who plays Jax. I just wish he was in a better movie.
Also, I do like how they're getting Jin's hair to look a bit more pointed as the movie progresses too, with it getting messed up. Again, that's a nice touch.
Succeeding you, father. And yes,
so
again,
I was right. He was planning to betray.
In general, by the way, if you wanted, again, the action in this movie is almost, again, the movie's not over yet, but almost a quasi good guy, arguably.
They just did a softball thing about, hey, I'm in charge here. Not anymore, you're not. Well, fuck.
Oh wait, that's
but yeah, Yoshimitsu. The point of Yoshimitsu is that he's supposed to be mysterious, and particularly goofy, but always good-hearted. In here, it's a guy in armor that's just a goon for the Tekken Corporation. And yes, in a game that is all about characters beating each other barehanded, he has a sword because fuck you.
I get the feeling. I get the feeling this is exactly this is basically what would happen if the JE Corporation was handling the franchise. Except here it's the Tekken Corporation, of course, the name. Because
in order to compensate the disadvantage that otherwise will be present in the game, they let Jin use a weapon. So why not? Let's have a round.
Yeah, that's a fair change.
Hey, there's the girl he had sex with.
So let's have a one round that is essentially, if you ever wanted a small adaptation of Soul Calibur, there you go, I guess.
I mean, again, it's a good fight scene, to give him credit. Again, no, the frustration really does come with the writing. That said, am I the only one
And
who
also the
finds
camera work.
That said, kind of a bit weird that he gets the gauntlets right before a fight where he arguably doesn't need them, or that at least they won't do him as much good.
Whoa! Also, the gimmick with Yoshimitsu is that he changes his armor constantly with each game.
Okay,
so the
never
fact that
mind.
He looks different, so the fact that he looks different here is not really much of a problem.
You know what would have been funny? If he looked different, if he changed his appearance in every camera shot.
Literally gaslighting the audience.
Yeah.
No, wait, he looks like this. No, wait, I remember him looking like that. But hold on.
No. Nobody points it out. It's just a thing that happens.
Yeah. It's like it's a Fight Club situation where it's literally intended to confuse the audience.
Alright. Okay, I guess to be fair, he does actually have use for the gauntlets in the site.
Mm-hmm. My market share, it's like in Death Race. Fuck.
Goody.
Tio, just be glad that I didn't go with the original choice of King of Fighters.
What? Is that movie even worse
I heard
somehow?
that movie was worse.
Like I said, okay, I think honestly, out of the all the bad quote unquote the bad fighting game movies, I agree with I forgot to say it, but basically, the Dead or Alive movie is probably the most passable one, and even then, it's still bad. It's just a more thing for the theming of the games.
The Dead or Alive movie really toes the line between, oh my god, I can't stand this to you, oh my god, I can't believe they actually went this far to be this faithful to the series. It's weird and hard to describe. That being said, thanks to what happened, we now know that that thing was going to go so far as to have the characters practically become like contortionists to replicate the fighting moves from the games.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, because we are not giving a shit about Jin. Yeah, the weird thing about it is again, Heihachi apparently giving a shit about Jin.
Well, okay.
Oh my.
No, Heihachi never cared.
Yeah. Heihachi never cared, but the series had this weird shtick where you get the feeling he might care. Obviously, you know, it's weird.
Again, Heihachi always has been and will always be just a self-centered, selfish bastard.
And then Tekken 7 tries to make it out to be like, actually,
Yeah.
I killed my wife because I had to.
Yeah.
It does not make any sense.
Okay. Look. I think we can agree on this. Tekken has amazing characters, but by God, Tekken sometimes really does not understand its own characters. Now granted, maybe for the sake of argument, since Tekken 7 is apparently Heihachi's big farewell, they wanted to try and round out his character more. I argue that was kind of pointless, and I get it, you're trying to make him more full of depth and everything, but when you get down to it, it just feels like a cheap maneuver more so to try and get the audiences to like him.
Deji, in which city in America does this take place specifically?
Tekken City, Pedro, don't you know?
It doesn't matter. This is a made-up place for the movie.
Okay, Paige, all you need to know is that in this movie, Japan took over America, so this is a fictional city called Tekken City.
Sure. Like, do we know at the very least what American city this was before, though?
No.
I don't think we do.
Okay, you know what? Then I'm just gonna go with the usual New York.
Detroit.
Sure, if you prefer Detroit.
So if I understand correctly, it seems that the tournament has been cancelled.
And the fighters arrested. Ow.
Ah, good.
Just drops it like that. You do?
So, like how in a fighting game, you have to perceive and memorize the fighting input codes.
Just mash buttons, bro.
Okay, again, I'd argue Tekken is beyond just being a button masher.
No. I know. That's just my mentality. Just mash buttons. Play Eddie Gordo and just mash the buttons.
Yeah, or Warang, which, by the way, is not in this movie.
Maybe they were planning him for a sequel.
Maybe it's probably for the best, because every time they put Warang trying to speak English, it never results well.
I say it was fine in that Netflix show.
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
He had a bromance. He had a weird bromance with Jin. When Nina's like, "Wait, you guys are friends?" No.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, now this music is a bit more in line with what happens in the games. Yeah, sure.
Except for the fact that Steve Fox.
Steve Fox with a gun, sure. Why not?
That guy just got shot.
Look, Tekken 7 had Akuma with a gun.
And a bowling ball.
Yeah.
The pizza, man! Eat it!
Okay.
I'm more bothered by the fact that that guy in the stairs got shot like multiple times and then just got up and grabbed the gun himself. Apparently getting shot is no big deal, I guess.
Because they're basically again, like I said, they try to be a reference to the Jack robots as in being more cyborg than actually humans.
Well, they're not cyborgs, they're androids. Cyborgs are part human.
Well, the androids in Dragon Ball are also part human, if you go by that. So.
No, but their names were mistranslations. They're supposed to be cyborgs.
Well, if it helps you, the Deji over here, we do call them cyborgs. So
yeah, it's 18. That's the android.
Oh.
So what you're saying, Dej, is not a robot, a cyborg, cybernetic organism. Gotcha.
Have I missed anything significant?
No.
Kazuya hijacked the tournament.
How about that? How about this, Dweb? Since I'm fully convinced that the Tekken Corporation works the same way, well, I'm going to sum this up for you. So this is Detroit, right?
No.
Okay. What, Joe?
Again, we really don't know what city this is, but anyway, Dwibs, essentially, Kazuya hijacked the tournament, he arrested the fighters, and now they're making their daring escape, essentially.
Yeah. Here's what I'm basically getting from this movie, Dwibs. Tekken City. Here in the city where dreams come true and desires rule. So things are sold and thrown away even as we speak, but behind the scenes of business as usual, the nefarious Tekken Corporation lands its already bloated coffers with profits from worthless products. That's it. Yeah. There you go. That's what's happening, Dwibs.
To give this movie credit, Kazuya only working under Heihachi to betray him, that is kind of in line with how he trained under Heihachi, only to await the opportunity where he could finally drop him off a cliff, so... yeah.
It wasn't even a thing, that's the thing, Jova. Again, in the games, it was more of a fact that he actually dropped him from in a volcano when he was a child, and ever since Kazuya's war, active revenge. Like, sure, I get, ideally, on paper, trying to work for him and then betray him could work, but Kazuya just has too much of an ego that he would prefer a more direct approach.
I could see Kazuya playing the long game. Again, let's not forget in Tekken 6, he more or less played the role of hero, which, again, arguably would go against this character, but for that case, it shows he's willing to do the cunning thing. Also, man, they gave Christy a lot of costumes for this movie. Of course she did.
I knew your mother. No one played as her as the arcades. That's why we got rid of her until Tekken 8.
My mother tried to keep me away from this crappy movie.
Also, Dej, do we ever know what entity was that possessed her in the Tug tournament?
I don't know.
Like, it's an alien goop thing. But
it was just something they made up for the game. Originally, that wasn't supposed to be June. That was supposed to be her sister or something like that.
the best thing about it, Dej, is that the closest we get to an explanation of that is in Project Cross Zone 2, where another character describes her aura as purely demonic. So it's not Devil Gene, but it's something close to that, I guess.
Tekken lore.
I recommend watching Clement's video on the crazy lore Tekken.
How recent was that one?
Like, a few months ago.
Oh, okay. So it's recent enough that he was able to cover even 7.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's literally a Star Wars prequel line. This is getting now there are 2 of them.
Yeah,
So,
he made it 5 months ago.
Cool.
So basically, the movie about a game that has a fighting tournament in it gets bored of the fighting tournament plots.
Basically, lives up.
Okay, to be fair, not all the games are completely about fighting tournaments, so it's not.
But at least they don't drop the fighting tournament thing halfway through the plot.
Well, actually,
we will reprise it, don't worry about that, but it's still, that lives as a point, it's still way too sudden of a shift mid-through. Like, it does feel like the movie just become bored of the genre and wanted to spice things up, like it's afraid the audience will drop it any second.
Okay, you know what, that's fair. Like, okay, the first game was technically all about the tournament. There have been some games where tournaments have been in the plots, but we're not necessarily all through and through the full way.
Steve, no.
Yeah, I can't believe Steve Fox is fucking dead.
Oh, come on, just get up.
Don't tase me, bro.
So wait, you shot him but only tased her. Why?
Double standards, Jova. Because Princess Leia we needed only to be stunned.
You see, Steve fellow.
Okay, so now is he going to electric when God fist him?
Actually, it belongs to Namkai Bando. Sorry, Bando Namkai. Sorry. Look, you know what?
Don't worry, Joe. Don't hurt yourself.
Okay, regardless. You know the funny thing? Bandai Namco, they were A-okay with this. They pretty much just signed the stuff off, and they were okay with all this.
The company itself was okay, this to handled, but either told nothing or did not allow Harada and his team to have some sort of creative control over it.
Because they know that Harada will be like, "You're full of shit.
Honestly,
you're full of shit.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Bandai Namco are not exactly famous for making good decisions.
Yeah, just like they gave Avi Arad Pac-Man.
They what?
They what?
Pac-Man: The Ghostly Adventures. He was involved with that.
All right.
Remember he wrote that god-awful theme song.
Why am I not surprised? But also, keep in mind, I'll never forget how Bandai Namco acted so surprised when that Project Crossum didn't do so well when it was just a Japanese exclusive, only to go, wait, you mean if we sell our game in other regions, it will make more money?
No, I understand the mindset because it felt like...
No, we did mention... fuck this.
Yeah.
But you have to understand also not the mindset, but remember also the idea behind it that Arada had to champion the game and beg the executives to listen to him, and every single character in it had to be negotiated in terms of being released in the States in some kind. This is why Bruno Dellinger has a different appearance, because there's a whole debacle over the first Dynamite copy in the West. It's called Die Hard Arcade instead.
Oh, there you go, there you go, Dwibs. The tournament's back on.
Hooray!
It just had a bit of a temporary bout. Also, they keep focusing on that one girl that Jin had sex with, like she's going to be important to the plot or something.
No, it's just a show. Oh, you know, like how King Piccolo made his grand speech and showed everyone.
Okay, versus Brian Fury, great. Let's take away two of the most forgettable characters of the series.
How dare you insult
Okay,
Brian Fury?
Dragunov is fine, but Brian Fury never really caught me. I'm sorry.
Right,
Which is weird because he has TL energy.
Oh,
Sorry, what?
A man of chaos.
I was going to say
Hmm.
about Tagawa. Kerry Tagawa, whose character just got blown up. Poor guy. He went from being in a James Bond movie, License to Kill, to this. Yeah.
That being said, wasn't License to Kill one of the, Okay, was that one of the good Bond films, or was that one of the lesser ones?
At the time, it got a really mixed reception, but time's been more kinder to it lately.
I guess it's a case where perspective is key.
Yeah, it depends how much you like Timothy Dalton's Bond movies.
All right.
It feels like James Bond is the most hit and miss movie franchise.
You know what? In hindsight, I probably should have showed you this earlier.
What's wrong? What's wrong, Pedro?
No, I just sent you.
Oh,
Something.
snap!
And
PB.
Dragunov is dead. Thanks.
Yeah, I never cared about him.
I mean, I guess Brian Fury is the kind of character that will kill ruthlessly, so...
Basically, Arada and our buddies, and they had a talk about stuff and shit like that. And the interview is actually still here for.
Forge. Also, yes, remember Gene, the fact that he's supposed to be the main character, but gets beaten up for most of the movie?
Okay,
Yeah, I don't
okay,
remember Luke Kang getting beaten up.
okay.
In,
Okay, now I legit have a problem here. While Kazuya has acted indifferent to Jin before, I don't think he's ever acted outright aggressive to the point where you say, "Oh, if I knew your mother was pregnant with you, I would have killed her." It's more
yes, the two still hate each other, but Kazuya is more of a case of just stay out of my way, but if you do, I will not hesitate to kill you.
No, he actually wants to kill Jin just so he can get his powers.
Which is
because Jin has half his devil power.
Gene,
Yeah.
evil.
Which is sort of played into in Project Cross Zone 2, where he is constantly trying to egg Jin into giving into the
you have to
devil
understand,
part.
Jova, they're also referencing events from Namco Cross Capcom that you probably don't know about, where Kazuya is actually a bad guy there.
But it's okay, he got into rehab and became a better guy? Not necessarily a good guy.
Just immersing himself in Morrigan's bathwater. I'm not even paraphrasing that much. You get recruited there. Ow.
And enjoy the show.
Yeah, he so dastardly wants her to see Jean dying. You know, the OVA also has this weird thing of being R-rated and showcasing a lot of blood, and gore.
Wait. This is an R rating?
Yeah, you
Yes.
saw a lot of blood.
They
so-
literally cut away from the Russian guy's neck getting broken. Like, come on. This is an R rating? This is PG-13.
It's a strong PG-13, but yeah, I'm gonna have to. This
is a
movie
really
doesn't quite
soft R.
It's a soft R, definitely.
Like it's an R rating that doesn't take advantage. But yeah, they keep emphasizing on the blood gloves.
It's what
okay there,
it's
Dej?
what said.
Also, I'm guessing the Williams...
Don't repeat it.
Also, I'm guessing the Williams sisters just got written out of the plot, because, yeah, they were left in their cell.
Yeah, by the way, we're getting to the climax of the movie now.
We are?
Yeah, we're like 50 minutes away from the end of the movie.
Wait,
So-
how many?
15.
15.
Oh my god, I thought you said 50.
No.
It feels like it.
I don't even think anything has happened so far.
Well, okay.
Like, it feels like the movie was just trying to get started.
All these
That's
flashbacks.
because this movie. That's because this movie doesn't actually have a plot. It's just things happen. Things are happening, but they don't mean anything because nothing is actually connected to form a coherent plot.
Who even is all of us? Did she foresee the future and see about all the friends he would make along the way? Now, granted,
Yes.
granted, maybe she again.
Okay. Remember, Jova. Moms are tough.
No.
You know, I'm convinced that there's sometimes it's just a bar that bad writers go to exchange ideas. The twist is that they don't know that the stories are actually bad, so they think that they're giving actual good advice.
So it's
Like
like
a villain bar they
sorry,
go
go
to. It's like the villain's bar they have in the How It Should Have Ended series.
Oh my god, he does have Teo energy. Oh! Okay, let's try that again, Jin.
please.
Oh, I thought for a second the rules were if you get knocked off that plinth that they're on, you automatically lose the fight.
No, there's no. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
He's a cybernetic being!
Brian Fury has some implants,
Nanomachine, son.
kinda.
I guess to give this movie credit, I'm overall fine with the composition.
Yo.
Okay,
I
that
was
was an
right. This does
absolute
take place
no-sell.
So I guess I was right then. This does take place in the Ghost Babel universe.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, from Metal Gear?
Yeah, where
Yeah,
he
Jay-
referenced the fake the fake movie script that gets present in Ghost Babel.
Yeah. The Tekken Corporation in this movie is basically the JE Corporation.
Huh. So what you're saying is that this was actually Ghost created by Kojima.
I'm not reading his touch.
Not really. Also,
Yes?
Jesus Christ. No, see, I am struggling to even say anything about this movie anymore because there's
Again.
It's such a nothing movie. And you
Okay,
gotta get
give
down
him
to
credit. Good fight scenes. I just wish that, there was good writing to surround it.
It's because I have no reason to care.
I love how every single time the solution to Jin's fighting is having a flashback to his mother.
Don't you see, Tio?
mom
His
died.
mom just knew everything except how to keep herself from dying.
This guy's character basically sums up to this. This guy's mom died. Have sympathy.
There you go. That'll do.
You could do it.
It's like we watched an anime and we saw the bare minimum.
Matt McNussles made a it's not a what happened video, but a fighting game theater video about this movie.
I haven't seen that.
What are his thoughts,
I
I
haven't
wonder?
seen-
Oh.
I haven't seen it either, but I might. It's one of the. I think it's one of those ones where it's like a podcast.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Is that Cliff how we're going to get, the bit?
And you just killed the man.
Put a gun against his head, pull the trigger now.
I mean, he was trying to kill him. So
No, wait.
Remember the rules of Kazuya, it's fight to the death or
No,
nothing.
wait. Let me guess. He's probably just knocked out.
Well,
No,
that
no.
happened.
Wrong, Jova. That man is deceased.
did you have to kick the fake?
Okay, so he just went nuts, I guess.
I mean, that's peak Kazuya when you really get down to it. Like the calm aura of coolness is just a facade when you get down to it. with 2 axes, sure.
You know, Kazuya, you do realize that you are providing Jin now the perfect outlet to his vengeance since you killed Heihachi.
Okay, I've looked up Ian Anthony Dale, and to be fair, he is of he is of both English, so he is of English, French, and Japanese descent. More recently, he was in a TV show called The Resident. It's like a one-off character.
Honestly,
these careers being present is mostly out in TV stuff.
Honestly, again, I will say this, for the most part, I don't terribly mind the casting of this movie. Sure, it has some iffy bouts, but for the most part, the casting doesn't seem bad.
It's similar to the fighting and costume design. There is an idea on how to make this movie right, but it's all completely wasted in service of a setting and plot that just doesn't even feel like Tekken.
It is really one of those bouts where the writing is the main culprit that just ruins all the good this movie sets out to do.
Who could have guessed that coming from the main writer of Ballistic X vs. Ever?
God, can you imagine if the sequel or prequel used someone else in Ballistic X vs. Sever, like the director?
That would just be horrifying.
What is that supposed to do exactly?
Kill.
Oh. Didn't see that coming now, did we?
The future is now, old man.
Is he gonna behead him?
Finish him.
Series.
But he can't do it.
I am not like you. You just killed Brian Fury. He was a cyborg. He doesn't count.
It's funny you say it's your curse, not mine, Jin.
Besides, he was about to kill me.
Actually, again, for all we know, Brian Fury is alive. He just got heavily knocked out.
Well, I thought Tekken was the world at this point.
Tekken is the evil corporation with the bloated coffers. We already established this.
Yeah, wait. So they make the name of the series an evil corporation. I'm surprised they didn't just go all out and say the world was taken over by Banco.
Yeah,
all these characters.
The victory, the triumph of these characters.
Surprised we didn't get a scene of any of the Mishimas dropping each other off of that fake cliff. I thought that's what it was going to be used for eventually.
Sorry, Jova. Speaking of which, Dedra, I do believe that there's another big omission we haven't talked about.
Which one? There's several.
Yeah, I know. But, I don't know. Maybe the fact that neither Kazuya nor Jin referencing the slightest or even have a hint of the devil gene.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was referencing earlier.
The selling point of a franchise, the fact that amongst these inhuman characters, the ones that are focused the most on the story tends to have demonic powers, and you don't even bother to make an attempt in referencing that.
Maybe that's supposed to be in the sequel.
Remind me.
Did Alan watch the movie Troy and was like, you know what? A setting that normally has supernatural things and removing that's a good idea. Let me try to
hold on.
Or maybe it was too expensive for them to do it.
Remind me. Did the Devil Gene actually show up in the first game?
No.
So
it was the second game that established it.
So
but remember, but this is loosely adapting the plot of the third game.
My guess is that they were gonna save the Devil Gene for later, but yeah, I guess now Jin's in charge since he won.
Also,
Jin, you have all those open wounds full bleeding. You might want to go to a hospital to prevent infection.
Cool dudes don't care about that, yo.
Oh God, Jin's an anti-vaxxer.
So, Jin, you now...
Also, what's with the Metal Gear music?
I guess now that Jin controls the city, he can now right the wrongs and...
But,
Mind
again...
the gap.
Mind the gap. But there's also the fact that, remember, the Street Fighter movie wanted to also have something similar to that by having Ryu and Ken only reference the Hadou energy and Goken, and then be... Yes, we end on a still frame. Don't close
There's
too off
after
yet,
credit
because
scene.
there's a post-credit scene, yes. But for the time being, who wants to start the final thoughts? Lives?
Yes, I'll go first. Well, that was shit. Okay. Positives.
It's
The
over.
sets don't look too bad. The environment. Wait, that's more for a game I describe it with. Kerry Tagawa is good in the movie. That's it. Cons. Okay, I would appreciate the fight scenes more if half of them weren't done with really bad shaky cam, and one of them wasn't done like it was. One of them wasn't done like they literally copied that terrible gunfire scene in Alone in the Dark.
Like I said, Uwe Boll was passing by the stage on that day, and they decided to get him to cast throughout that scene. Clearly.
Yeah. The characters.
Hey, nothing you can say. Sorry, that's scroll.
Okay. All right. So about the characters. Now about the acting. It's really, aside from Kerry Tagawa, it's just kind of average at best. The writing doesn't really help. Well, then again, these are from the guys who helmed Halloween 4, who directed Halloween 4 and also wrote that movie. And also, Ballistic doesn't help. Again, that's the baffling thing, though, to me. McElroy at least wrote a semi-entertaining movie before this at the Marines, so I guess he wanted to try and do something, but this time he just didn't.
That's
He
the
just
thing,
failed.
Blaze, judging from what we've seen, he's very inconsistent in his work. Sometimes he can produce something at the very least half decent, but a lot of the other times he just pisses out of the toilet, as we say in my country.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Kerry Tagawa is the best thing about this movie, but he's fucking Shensung. I mean, I already expected that.
And he barely does anything in this.
I mean, hell. This came out in 2009, 10, 11, whenever. I mean, hell, we wouldn't have to wait. We only have to wait a few years after this for him to just be Shang Tsung again. In video game form, yes, but still. So yeah, Tekken is just not very good, and as for comparing this to the other Tekken media that I've seen, it doesn't have the camp factor of the OVA. Well, hold on, even the camp factor of Blood Vengeance. So there you go. If only this film had more unintentional humor.
So, Dubs, actually, technically, he was also Shensung in Mortal Kombat Legacy, which was a web series in 2013.
I haven't seen that one. So yeah, more like tech shit.
Oh my god!
You
No.
allowed this.
Yeah,
I give this film a tech out of Tekken.
No.
Hey! This film needed more bad. This like I said, this film needed more unintentional bad comedy. So
That wait. Hold on.
All
But
right,
that's
here
the
we
thing.
go.
That sounded intentionally bad. Oh, hey, Kazuya.
well, hey! It prompted more of a reaction than this film did out of most of you.
Nah, not really. Anyway, what do we have here?
So we have Mustachey.
What is that even supposed to mean?
It's cool. What?
What?
Essentially, he managed to get away from his execution, swearing potentially revenge. But guess where this goes? Absolutely nowhere. Because the following movie was a prequel.
Which, okay, so...
I thought he got blown up.
Why? Well, no, it turns out he wasn't, which means that Kazuya never really had true control over the jackhammers. Yeah. That's the thing, though. Like, what does that even matter, though? I mean, Jin now has real control since he's now CEO of Tekken.
Kazuya will not Kazuya, but he actually will return to get control. Again, something that the Mishima tends to do in the game.
What you're saying is, what you're saying here is Ayashi will return.
But go on with
So yeah, that's about it. To be honest, it's about what I expected from a film made by these guys. It's really dull, and when it isn't dull, it's really kind of headache-inducing.
Pedro,
so basically, what you're saying is, so basically, the movie lived up to his expectations. That's, I guess.
So, Pedro, since you don't know anything about the games, what was this excursion?
Well, that was a thing. It was a movie, I guess technically. There were moving pictures, so I guess technically I need to count this as a movie.
Technically.
So, Pedro, better or worse than the Heavenly Sword movie?
Better still, but like I said, just congrats. You're better than the Heavenly Sword movie. What do you want to cook? You want a cookie? Like,
what a bar!
What a bar to cross, indeed. The best thing about this movie is Kari Takawa as Hayashi because, hey, it's Kari Takawa. I mean, come on. I mean, who doesn't love this guy? I mean, I kind of wish he would I kind of wish he would. I mean, the sad part, Teo, is that Shang Tsung in this movie cannot take anybody's soul because there's no soul in this movie whatsoever for him to take.
I guess, hey, at least he comes back in the prequel.
Yeah. Again, to give an idea, the prequel only has Kariyuki Tagawa as Yachi and Gary Daniels as Brian Fury as the two returning actor. And as in terms of gaming characters, they're basically that Kazuya, Heihachi, and Brian Fury. Every other character, if I recall correctly, is just an original one made up for the movie. So if I remember correctly, the next movie is even worse.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I will say the actors that I thought did the best were of course, Kari Tagawa as Hayashi and the guy playing Kazuya. Those guys were you can at least they were at the very least trying, and the guy playing Kazuya seems like he's at the very least having fun. So there's that. But aside from that, like this movie's such a completely soulless mess. Like, based on what I've been hearing, it doesn't seem like this thing gets anything from the games for the most part. And yeah, like the plot is a mess and practically impossible to follow because of the pacing, the characters.
If I may ask, how did this get its sequel? Because look, I don't think this is necessarily a complete dumpster fire, but like with Monster Family 2, yeah, again, it bombed. It does not seem like it really got good reception. Again, 0% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics and only a 31% approval from viewers.
Because somebody, what's the production company of this movie again, too?
Crystal Sky.
Yeah, because the director of that sequel/prequel, whatever it is, has some dirt on the president of that company. So he had to greenlight that, otherwise that dirt would come to light. That's my theory. Yeah.
For the record, the Crystal Sky is apparently one of the production companies of the amazing things like Super Babies, Baby Geniuses too.
Really?
Wow. Wait, hold on. That one also had Justin Chatwin. So you're telling me that in a way this is tangentially connected to Dragon Ball Evolution.
they're still active to this very day, but the last thing they're credited as in terms of production is being part of the 2017 Ghost in the Shell movie, which
These guys are somebody needs to stop these guys. Jesus.
Well, apparently they've been stopping since 6 years ago, but for some reason they're not yet defunct. Like, what are they doing?
I guess maybe they've changed career and became a cleaning company.
I'm starting to pondering if Joe is appointed it might be a money laundering scheme.
I really do wonder.
So it's like the CW.
I don't know that, Edge.
I trusted you and you scammed us all. But anyway. Yeah, this thing that calls itself a movie is absolutely atrocious, and to be perfectly honest, it's kind of sleep-inducing. Jesus Christ, like, it's so boring. Yeah, the fighting choreography is fine. I just wish I had some actual reason to give a shit about any of it. Yeah, this is your typical soulless Hollywood cash grab. There's some bright spots here and there, but they're too few and way too far in between. So yeah, that was terrible. Absolutely terrible, and yeah, that's it.
Jova.
Well, this was certainly a movie trying to adapt off of Tekken, which Namco Bandai gave the okay to.
Like I said, we technically have to consider this a movie because there's moving pictures in it, but I hesitate to do so.
When it comes to the company's other major adaptations, the most that I can think of are the Tales of series and OVAs, and I heard that most of them are alright. Nothing particularly egregious, but fine on their own.
Again,
the stereo OVAs are good. I'll say that.
I've said it before. Look, here's the thing. For as much as we will throw shade at Hollywood for mucking things up, never forget, Namco Bandai not only gave the okay, but Namco Bandai went out of their way to keep Harada from giving any input on this movie. So, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it is just as much the company's fault. Which, again, like I said, Namco Bandai and making stupid decisions are a common pairing.
It's more of a case, Jova, that I think they just don't understand properly the West, and when he's trying to make a guess in trying to pander a bit to them, they end up making wrong decisions. Like, for example, the Dead to Rights reboot.
Again, I also reiterate their hard-headedness with actually localizing some stuff that, shock of all shocks, could benefit from being sold overseas, which they seem to constantly have trouble realizing. But okay, enough talking about Bandai Namco's stupid decisions here and there. This movie... Okay, here's the thing about this movie. I constantly do see good things about it. Or rather, to be more specific, I see ways in which this movie really could have been good. Like, for the most part, the casting is good. They got people who could fight and feel like they resemble close enough the characters. Fair enough. Fine. Again, the fight choreography is pretty good, save for the wacky camera work in the first major fight, but otherwise, the fights are good. And the costuming, again, I have to give them credit. The costumes here, for the most part, are way more faithful than you see in a lot of these adaptations. So where does stuff go wrong? Well, first off, the story. In fact, yeah, you know what? Might as well go for some of the character dialogue, too. The main culprit of this adaptation's problems is, like many projects, the writing. Again, it cannot be understated. Now, this is not to say that writing is always going to be the be-all, end-all, but as we can see, this is definitely a case where the writing pretty much overwrote any good things that the good qualities brought to this movie, because, woo boy! First off, everything is Tekken in this. That is never how it was in the games. Like, what were they thinking? Were they thinking? I don't know.
Oh.
And then, weirdly enough, so the plot is that essentially Jin wants to work his way up the ladder with regards to, getting revenge on Heihachi. Then Heihachi apparently dies, except not really, but still, Kazuya is the final boss. And when you get down to it, if Kazuya had just, not fought Jin, he might have gotten out of this relatively well. But alas, so... And the real scathing thing? We don't even get to see how life will change now that Jin is the CEO of Tekken. Yeah. It just ends.
You asked if they were thinking, Jova?
What?
You asked if they were thinking, Jova? If they were thinking, here's how their thought process went. There you go. That's what the thought process was.
Again,
I also particularly loved the tagline of the box of the poster, the movie poster, and the DVD. Survival is no game.
I will say this: my favorite part was when Heihachi Mishima said, "I am Tekken," and then Tekkened all over the foes on the floor.
Yeah, at this point, they might as well do that. Like,
stand back, everybody! I'm about to Tekken.
It's Tekken time!
I guess it's still better than the generic as fuck attack from the Wing Commander movie. An action-packed thrill ride.
But yeah, no. I mean, the real frustrating thing about this movie is, unlike something like the Heavenly Sword movie, which was just a god-awful mess that admittedly did not have good source material to really pull from in the first place, with this one, I do see how they could have made this a really good movie. But the thing is, it is arguably one department, but still a very strong department that ruined things for each other's. Sure, yeah, okay, the direction isn't always the best, but it's not that the direction for the most part is fine. No, the major issue is the writing. The writing just kills this thing. It messes with the lore, it messes with the characters, it messes with the character motivations and how the plot goes. Never mind the fact that some characters just drop from the plot, like the Williams sisters, I guess, spend the remainder of the plot in a cage. Also, the movie didn't seem to actually decide if Jin and Christy actually are getting together or if they just flirted. Because the last thing we see between them is Christy having busted out just so she can announce Jin the winner. Woo! And, yeah, again, they keep cutting back to that girl he actually did have sex with, so... I don't know, maybe he was really still boyfriend-girlfriend with her? I don't know. Again, I'm wondering if that's what the writers were thinking, because, man, I really have to wonder if they knew what they were doing. The plot feels so herky-jerk. 1 minute it's going one direction, then wham! Suddenly it veers off in this other direction, only to then come back. Like, seriously, the whole tournament arc kind of gets interrupted, with the fighters getting arrested, but then...
And then trying to escape futilely just so Steve Fox can die.
I suppose Raven does point out that obviously they're going to keep the tournament going, which makes you wonder why they even bothered to escape with Heihachi. I guess the main point was just so that Heihachi could reveal to Jin that, oh yeah, you're a Mishima, which I guess was his way of screwing over Kazuya, because by being a family member, Jin could have made a claim for CEO title? Of course, as the plot so clearly shows.
You're thinking of a better movie, Pedro.
I know what I said.
Anyway, yeah, no, this movie is bad, but I don't see it as a completely irredeemable dumpster fire. No, the fact that they made a terrible prequel that clearly apparently didn't improve on stuff is what makes this an irredeemable dumpster fire.
No, if anything, it's making it look worse. I'm looking now at the posters and if that is anything to go, indication to go by, we have to, if we ever get to that, we have to expect a lot more shit.
Oh, joy.
Joy indeed.
Oh, those are my thoughts. Tio, you go next.
Yeah, I'll go next. God. The time did not do any favors to this. If anything, it made it worse. The only good things about it are the costume design for some of the characters, not even all of them, and the fight choreography when it's not destroyed by the other incompetence of the camera work and the editing. Everything else is just awful, The acting is alright for one or two actor, But I argue, even people like Chang Sung, as in Heihachi's actor, cannot really elevate what they had because their characters get to do nothing in that.
I really chalk it up to just the script never really allowing anyone to have a big shine moment.
The big culprit is the writing for almost all decisions. The world building being as it is, the complete changing and or removal of important crucial characters, and plot elements. All because Alan B. McElroy decided instead to tell a fan fiction where Ginny is a drug addict that loves to fuck around with a whitewashed Christy Montero. Bravo!
Maybe they hired her for her fighting skills in that regard. Again, I'm trying...
That's the problem, Jova. Christy Montero is supposed to be an proficient in capoeira, much like Eddie Gordo. She did not in this movie.
Alright, does she actually get to fight in this movie now that I think about it?
She fought.
Yes.
Oh wait, there was that one fight scene, with Nina Williams.
And it's a cat fight more than anything. Point being, again, Alan B. McElroy didn't really understood what the game was about in general. I don't even know what he decided to understand and what to decide to do. But
now the thing is
basically a fan fiction. Again, even with alternate continuities like crossovers or Attack Tournament, or even the more outlandish stuff like Tekken Bloodline, or even the OVA that Midwaves and Shiri covered. Even in those, when the plot deviates from what the games usually had and does some outlandish things, there's still some kind of enjoyment and respect for the original. You can tell that some of the spirit is still there in some fashion. Again, even Bloodlines has very weird shit like the Mokujin construct.
Oh no, that's like the end of the spirit plot.
Or the OVA has the weird as Heihachi catching a bullet with his teeth. It's still stuff that you can see Arada would probably do, during after a coke trip or something. Like, it feels something that would be wrong in the series if given enough time. But this is just awful. It takes itself too seriously compared to, say, the Street Fighter movie. There's no sense of enjoyment. It tries to be excessively edgy for its own good with this super dystopic setting. All this blood that doesn't really belong in here. It's not even properly justified to be there. The complete, not just omission, but complete middle finger to iconic characters like Yoshimitsu, and even killing unceremoniously people like Steve Fox or Dragunov. Even if they might not be liked by the characters, by the fans, show some goddamn respect. The only character in most, at least, a fighting game that I do know that can be as tortured and mocked off, and the fandom will not bat an eye, but rather I encourage it. That's Su Hao from Mortal Kombat, and that's because the character deserves that. There's a good reason why Ed Boon decides to make him the butt of the jokes. This movie did not have the right to do what he did to also these characters. And again, from what I'm checking, the pre-sequel, which I haven't seen yet, is probably even worse. Just judging by the poster alone, apparently, Heihachi doesn't even have his iconic haircut. So
he doesn't he doesn't have the Wolverine.
Oh man, that's gonna be. Let's hope enough time passes for me to have enough alcohol when the time comes.
Can you imagine the shock if it's actually good?
Again, that would be an official irony. A Tekken movie being good because despite having only a very few characters from the actual game. But yes, again, let's just say that even the OVA is a better time than this, and hopefully we'll have a glimpse of that for generations of that. Who knows? But Deji, conclude your final thoughts, please.
That sucked. It wasn't as much of a train wreck as I was hoping. It's just boring and white noise. Like Joe said a couple hours ago, an adaptation is going to take rest. It's going to do something for creative liberties, but this feels like it has nothing. It felt like someone had the God, I can't even say it with a straight face.
How the what? No.
It feels like someone just looked up Tekken. Is like, oh, people fight. These designs look cool, and that's it. Nothing about the lore or backstory besides, Jin's mom was killed.
We don't even get a remix of the iconic Tekken themes.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't. And I know, and the Netflix show also had this. They didn't have any of the iconic music.
Okay, in that case, I guess it might be a copyright issue. We have talked about this in the past. It might be the case.
That is
I
possible.
don't think so.
It is possible, given
Tekken,
how copyright can be.
Let's remember, Tekken gets to have instead of having a mainstay composer all the time, they have a collection of composers that rotate, and each of them has their own set of pieces, like even Keiichi Okabe.
Carry on, Dej.
Anything else?
Some of the costumes look good, like Jin's swing pants, Christina's outfit, Eddie Gordo, of course. Nina and Anna look dressed like their game selves. Kazuya looks hilarious.
Kazuya looks nothing like in the game. Doesn't have the haircut, has that stupid beard and mustache combo.
I mean, I guess his
he's
facial
also in
structure.
Hawaii 5-0.
Okay, I guess his facial structure resembles that of Kazuya. It's just not as obvious because of the goatee. I guess he has thick eyebrows, but yeah, no, not like the absolute butterflies that are. Yeah.
And he doesn't even fight properly. He just goes around with 2 axes and gets defeated in 1 minute.
Okay, here's the thing. Kazuya with weapons is similar to how, you know that lore that Chun-Li is actually very good with guns, but we rarely see her actually use them in-game? It's kind of like that, where yes, Kazuya is capable of using weaponry. But for good reason, you don't often see him use it. Which, I guess, kudos to this movie for acknowledging that. However, it's weird that they never let him actually fight hand-to-hand. Like, maybe after the axes weren't clearly working, give him a phase where then he just fights Jin hand-to-hand. That's what I would have done, at least. If I had to.
Also, what the hell was with the romance between Jin and Christine?
Like, that's the thing. I'm not even sure if it actually... But that's the thing. It's not even like they actually culminate the relationship. At most, they get a bit flirty here and there, but it's not like, you know, they actually make it official or anything. Again, last thing we get of them is just her declaring him the champion, because I guess she can do that now, and yeah, she doesn't even accompany him outside of the arena.
And the thing is, Jin's not even in the games, he's not even interested in a relationship.
Even though he
goes through the Sigma male grind set.
Oh dear God!
Sorry. And Anna and Nino, I don't know what the hell they did with them, because they were never like Anna would try to flirt with people, but I don't think she would. Her because we didn't know. I don't think she would be in a threesome with her own sister.
I'm trying to remember.
No, considering that those two want to kill each other.
True, yeah, they have that old sibling rivalry thing ramped up to 11.
I don't know who this movie was for. It's a train wreck and disaster, and the fact that this got a sequel is amazing.
And like I said, that's in spite of it losing money. And let's be honest, the majority definitely not liking this. It wasn't even like they could really make that much money off of the controversy, seeing as how the sequel was direct-to-video.
Yeah.
And apparently the sales weren't good enough to get a third movie.
Nope.
So, yeah, again. So, I guess it's just a matter of seeing a Monster Family 3 occurs before I can decide which is the most inane series of movies.
So here's my ranking: Blood Vengeance, DOVA, Whale Poop, this.
Wait, hold on. So you actually like Blood Vengeance over the OVA movie?
Yes, I don't think the OVA is good.
So basically, what I learned today is that Tekken.
Like we're talking about just movies, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I learned today is that Tekken really does kind of need a break with movies.
Well, again, it seems that the Netflix series has done a better job.
Well, hence why I said with movies, particular.
So are they involved in that?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, that's it for this. We'll get to the pre-sequel at some point, hopefully with enough alcohol. We'll get to redo the OVA because, like I said, there is potential for the others that were not in the original run, and we'll get to Blood Vengeance at some point as well. Why not? To see also what the fuss is about with that. So stay tuned for more iron fisting.